Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's get right into it. Today, we're setting up a genuine medical detective story. If you're looking to uncover the hidden mechanisms behind one of the most frightening yet totally misunderstood physical sensations a person can experience, you're in exactly the right place. We are going to decode the mystery of unexplained heart palpitations and look at the actual cellular science of how your body regulates its own rhythm.
Have you ever felt your heart suddenly skip a beat? Or maybe flutter or just pound aggressively in your chest out of absolutely nowhere? It is a visceral, completely terrifying sensation, right? Your immediate assumption is usually the worst, that your heart is failing or that there's some kind of permanent structural damage. It's incredibly anxiety-inducing. Well, let's dive into this, because the reality of what's actually happening might completely change how you view your own body. Here's where our detective story gets super interesting. You go to the doctor, they run a 12-lead EKG or an echocardiogram, and they tell you everything is perfectly fine. You're just brushed off with a vague diagnosis of stress or anxiety. But you know that terrifying sensation you felt. It was 100% real. This is the paradox. Standard medical tests are designed to look for mechanical failure and structural tissue damage, but they completely miss the true culprit here, because what you're experiencing is actually a chemical imbalance, not a broken mechanical part.
So, to solve this mystery, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover the heart flutter paradox, minerals regulating your heart, why stress depletes minerals, the hidden magnesium deficiency, benefits of green foods, and finally, optimizing magnesium glycinate absorption. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The heart flutter paradox, chemical, not mechanical. All right, we need to completely shift our perspective from structural mechanics to chemical electronics. The electrical pathogenesis paradox basically refers to functional cardiac anomalies caused by localized electrolyte imbalances across specialized cell membranes, rather than mechanical heart degeneration. In plain English, your heart muscle runs on a continuous, tightly regulated flow of mineral ions. When you feel that flutter, you are experiencing neuromuscular irritability. The electrical conduction system is misfiring because of a localized depletion of specific minerals. The amazing news here is that by fixing these intracellular mineral depletions, you can actually thoroughly mitigate these dysrhythmias. Moving right along to Section 2, minerals regulating your heart, the counter-regulatory axis.
So let's look at the two main biological suspects in our investigation. Think of calcium as your contraction trigger. It's essentially the physiological gas pedal. When calcium floods into the cell, it stimulates pathways and causes the heart muscle to contract. But then you have magnesium. Magnesium is the master regulator. It acts as a natural calcium channel blocker. It's the brakes that control nerve stability and muscle relaxation. When your magnesium reserves drop, well, you've got nothing hitting the brakes. You get this totally unregulated shift of calcium that overstimulates the nervous pathways supplying the heart. The cellular threshold for excitation lowers, that tissue becomes highly volatile, and boom, you get premature beats and systemic cramps.
Which brings us to Section 3, why stress depletes minerals, the great depletion.
Now, you might be wondering, if magnesium is our body's braking system, why on earth are the brakes failing? Well, modern life is basically designed to drain our mineral batteries. First up, psychological stress triggers massive adrenaline and cortisol surges. Your body literally has to use up magnesium to buffer those stress hormones. Then there's glycemic instability. Blood sugar spikes and insulin resistance just skyrocket your body's demand for magnesium. On top of that, we have excretory accelerators. Yep, that daily cup of coffee. Caffeine acts as a powerful diuretic, forcibly expelling magnesium through your urine. Same goes for alcohol, heavy sweating during a workout, or even a sudden low-carb diet. And finally, if you have low stomach acid, which often shows up as acid reflux, it actually impairs your ability to absorb the minerals you do manage to consume. Look at this quote from the clinical specifications. The counter-regulatory process rapidly exhausts cellular mineral reserves, abruptly precipitating palpitations during stressful events. That just perfectly connects the dots, doesn't it? When you have a really stressful day at work, your body dumps adrenaline. To protect you, your body burns through its cellular magnesium to buffer it. Suddenly, your mineral reserves are exhausted, the brakes are completely gone, and a palpitation is abruptly precipitated.
All right, Section 4, the hidden magnesium deficiency, the testing blind spot. So, if we're all walking around so depleted, why don't standard blood tests catch it? Well, check this out. There's a massive disparity in how magnesium is stored in the human body. Standard serum electrolyte panels, the regular blood test your doctor runs, are only looking at 1% of your body's magnesium, literally just 1%. The other 99% is sequestered deep down within your intracellular tissue and bone matrix.
And because that 1% in your blood is absolutely crucial for your basic survival, your body will maintain it at all costs. How? By literally stealing magnesium from its own deep tissue and bone stores. So your blood work, it'll look perfectly normal for years, completely masking a profound and frankly dangerous cellular deficit, right up until the point that those cardiac symptoms, like flutters and premature beats, finally emerge. Your body has been running on empty, and the standard tests are completely blind to it.
Let's jump to Section 5, Benefits of Green Foods, Reestablishing Dietary Baseline. So, how do we actually fix this? To reverse these deep tissue deficits, we've got to start with what we eat. Unfortunately, intensive industrial agriculture and municipal water filtration have fundamentally stripped vital trace minerals from our modern food chain. We have a huge baseline deficit to overcome here. We need to aggressively reintroduce nutrient-dense foods. We're talking active green chlorophyll matrices. Think massive raw salads and cruciferous vegetables. We also need avocados, unrefined tree nuts, and high-percentage dark chocolate. These aren't just healthy snacks, they are strategic tools to replenish the exact mineral fractions your cardiovascular system is begging for.
And finally, Section 6, Optimizing Magnesium Glycinate Absorption, the Recovery Protocol.
Now, diet alone is rarely enough to fix a severe intracellular deficit, and this is why so many over-the-counter supplements just totally fail. The most common form you'll find at the pharmacy is magnesium oxide. It has an incredibly poor absorption rate of around 3%. It basically just stays in the gut, causes osmotic irritation, and leads to diarrhea. It does not get into your cells. Clinical protocols dictate using highly bioavailable organic chelates, specifically magnesium glycinate. Glycinate hits an absorption rate of up to 80%. Even better, it concurrently delivers glycine, which elevates those calming GABA pathways in your brain, buffering cortisol, and actually dampening the exact nervous system irritability that's causing your palpitations.
But the absolutely crucial point is how you actually take it. You need a precise chronobiological dosing strategy for maximum recovery. First, clinical correction requires targeting 800 milligrams daily. That's effectively double the standard RDA. Second, you must divide this into distinct morning and evening doses. Why? Because endogenous magnesium follows a strict circadian rhythm. It hits its lowest biological concentration in the early morning hours, which is exactly why people get nocturnal leg cramps or experience sudden cardiac events at dawn. By splitting the dose, you ensure steady cellular accumulation to support your energy pathways around the clock.
We've reached the end of our investigation, and I want to leave you with this provocative thought. When you feel that sudden flutter, is your heart really failing, or is your biological battery simply out of charge? By understanding the paradox of localized chemical imbalances, the reality of stress depletion, and the blind spots in standard testing, you can stop fearing your symptoms and actually start rebuilding your cellular energy. You literally have the tools to restore your rhythm. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.